Rumour has it, I nearly bought the A7 III once. Will the A7 IV make me change my mind? And when will it ever arrive? Let's look into that. Hi, I'm Tom and you're watching Rumour Has It. Please subscribe for camera news, rumour and informed opinion. It's free to subscribe and it helps the channel grow. And if you want to see more content like this, please give the like and subscribe button your support and let YouTube know that you appreciate the video. Like many, a while ago, I was getting frustrated as Canon were not bringing out a competitive mirrorless body. So I was looking into the possibility of the Sony A7 III and a change of brand. However, as a regular viewer will know, I hung on in there and eventually I bought the Canon R5. The A7 III was an excellent camera and it brought a real competitive set of specs for the price. This was the camera that converted many previous Canon owners and I was nearly one of them. With the A7 III getting long in the tooth and dropping down the league table, it's been overtaken by the likes of the Panasonic S5, the Nikon Z6 Mark II and the Canon R6. Recent comparison videos from the likes of DP Review have put it at the back of the field. However, let's not forget, it wowed everyone with its specs, and which were well ahead of the competition when it was released in April 2018. With 10 frames per second, IAF, Animal AF, 4K 30 oversampled from a 6K sensor, all at a time when Canon was struggling to put 4K and motion JPEG into their cameras. That's before they got their act together with the R6 and R5. I think in some ways we've got Sony to thank for those cameras. It was a lot to do with the success of the A7 III that drove Canon to give us the R5 and the R6. So what will Sony bring with the A7 IV? And will they give Canon reason to think again? Or has Canon given Sony reason to think again after coming back strongly with better IBIS and better AI autofocus? It's possible that this has been the cause for the delay. Maybe Sony were surprised that Canon caught up. But isn't that a good thing? We have two major brands battling out for top place, and we the consumers will be the beneficiary. Sony rumour sites in the past have been very unreliable, but some did get it right with the A1, so perhaps the rumoured specs for the A7 IV are more believable this time. So let's look at the latest info and see how it stacks up with the competition. Looking at the sensor, it looks like Sony will step up from the 24 megapixels in the last generation and bring it to 30 megapixels this time. I think Sony users expect to see this bump in resolution, and it's certainly been the direction taken by competitors and the technology. High megapixel sensors are less of a problem with new processors, which are more capable of handling the data. Now look at the EVF. I think it's likely we'll see a bump up here to 5.76. That viewfinder's already in the A7R IV, and I think it's a must for the A7 IV. Now look at the rear LCD. This was a very limiting area for the Sony A7 III, and Sony really need to step up their game here. But given the latest flagship A1 still has a 1.4 megapixel LCD, I think it'd be odd if Sony were to fit something better in a mid-budget camera. But the rumours do say that it will be 2.36 megapixel and fully articulating. So let's see if they deliver this. And of course, touch-enabled settings. Even the A1 doesn't have a fully capable touchscreen. Frames per second. The A7 III had 10 frames per second, mechanical and electronic, and this was a major advance at the time. But the R6 has 12 frames per second mechanical and 20 frames per second electronic, with the rumours of the A7 IV saying 15 frames per second. Is that wishful thinking for a mid-budget model? And will that be mechanical or just electronic? Hopefully we'll know soon. Now looking at IBIS, this was always a strong point for Sony, until Canon threw down the gauntlet with 8 stops of stabilisation by marrying the best of IBIS with already great lens stability. The flagship Sony A1 has 5.5 stops of stabilisation, so I don't think we'll see more than that in the A7 IV. So my guess is it will be 5.5 stops. Now looking at video, I think 4K 60 will be a given. The only question really is on whether we'll get 10-bit 422 or 10-bit 420, and will it be internal? Video has always been a strength for Sony, who seem to always get the best out of their sensors with very efficient codecs, and I think they'll push this one for the A7 IV. Now looking at dynamic range, this is one area where Nikon can still claim the lead with 14.7 EVS in the Z7 II. The rumours for the A7 IV claim 15 plus EVS. I think that's unlikely in this range of camera. The A7 III set a high bar, and it'll be a tough act to follow for Sony, which is why we've not seen another camera yet. Now Sony have all the available tech, but they're unlikely to pack it into an A7 IV. This is a camera that will sit in the mid-budget full frame range, and Sony will not want to eat into the higher end models. This camera will be aimed at the Z6 Mark II and the R6 from Canon. These are all mid-budget priced cameras, and that'll limit Sony as to what tech they can put into the A7 IV and maintain that price. It'll be interesting to see how Sony struggle with this type of decision. Sony in part won more market share by packing everything into the A7 III, and it converted a lot of users over to their brand. How will they continue to keep them happy and still offer some form of model separation? That'll be interesting to see. This is something Canon are heavily criticised for. Will Sony do it differently? So when will Sony release the A7 IV? Well, the Mark III was released in the month of April, and the Mark II was released in the month of November. Given we're already nearly in June, I think it's likely to be late summer or early autumn release for the A7 IV. But hey, who knows? Having kept us waiting this long, it might just get announced next week. Thanks for watching, Rumour has it. I hope you found this useful. Please like, and if you're new here, click the subscribe button below. It really helps the channel grow. And for my part, I'll continue to bring you camera news, rumour, and informed opinion.